So we're in this takeaway tickle me society. Everything's got to be done fast. Want it now? Tickle, tickle, tickle. Western religion, not interested in getting their heads cut off like the Chinese. The Chinese are interested in going into Muslim lands and Hindu lands and Buddhist lands, preaching the gospel and dying if it's required. We in the West, what do we want to do? Pay for it. Pay for the tickle. Put the buckets round. Sorry, Mr. Hillsong. Bucket Ministries. And it's all good, it's all good, it's all good. Come on, man. Christianity is not all happy, happy, clappy and fall over. It's not about receiving the visiting magic minister that goes bam every time you fall over, and then sending a love offering bucket round so the poor little church that's only got 30-40 people are forking out again. It's not about the big tithes, 10%, that's a whole lot of bull. Scripture says if you want to abide by the law, you do the whole lot and you get judged by the law. Now Christian, if you want to be judged by the law, which didn't help the Jews or the Israelites, you do so. You go tithe, do your part of the law, but just realise God will judge you by the whole law. It's about giving cheerfully. Don't let your left hand know what your right's doing. Give and it shall be given unto you, pressed down, shaken together and overflowing, good measure shall men give unto your bosom. So you will receive back if you give. It says give as you have set up in your heart. Doesn't say get your calculator out and work out 10%. In fact, even that in the Old Testament, God actually gave them back their tithe, and he said party, to go and buy food and wine and party before me at the place appointed with your tithe. Every second or third year, I think it was, the tithe had to go to the Levites because that was the inheritance. The church says you got a tithe, otherwise you won't get blessed. Come on, bullshit. You got to give. God's teaching you to give. That's what he's teaching you to do. He's teaching you to give, to have a giving attitude and a giving heart with everything you do. That's what it's all about, because you don't get anything unless you give. If you serve and become a servant to other people, you will be served yourself. I remember once I told the pastor I was giving my tithe, so-called tithe, to my grandmother who needed money, and I was sending it to her every week. He frowned on that. He said, oh, you should be putting it into the church. Come on. Why does the church need money? To pay for the expensive buildings and to pay for the salaries. Now, if you had a church like the New Testament had in the book of Acts, you don't need any of those, because you go from house to house. And the time will come when we will have to do that, like in China. We'll have to run from house to house so you don't get caught and thrown into jail.